Alrighty, y'all. I got another Bait Finesse Reel that I'm unboxing for y'all today, and that is the Daiwa PX BF TW 70, the Pixie. And this reel here is now available in the US. Got it at Discount Tackle, and I am so stoked that this is available in the US now because my first JDM Bait Finesse Reel was the Daiwa Alpha Air TW, and from what I've been hearing on the internet, this is basically the rebranded version. So yeah, I'm so stoked that you guys in the US can now use this reel too, because oh my gosh, it's so sexy. This reel here is their smallest spool that they have available in the US market. The other one's the Daiwa Tatula BF 70. That spool is a little bit larger and heavier, and that fits really well on a light and medium light rod. This reel here fits better on an ultralight and a light tackle rod. So we're gonna talk more about how I'll use this reel later. Let's first start off by doing an unboxing, shall we? So let me whip out my ninja tool, my gardening tool actually. But yeah, for those who don't know, ninjas were mainly farmers, so they took a lot of farm tools, such as this thing right here. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if this is the first time you ever seen a ninja tool being used for a unboxing video. But anyway, here we are. We have the box, and something really interesting about this box. First and foremost, I never had a Daiwa box shrink wrap, and two, look at this. There's like nothing here. So Jimbo had to actually look some things up, some of the features on the website for y'all, and I have that printed out on the side. But let's take a look at this box right now. This reel sports the T-wing system, okay, and y'all can see that in a second. It has a 90mm handle, and it doesn't say here, but it does support the UTD drag system and also the zero adjuster, okay, and then also it doesn't say here, but their main gear is basically aluminum grade, pretty much the same material they use for the spool, and those are aviation quality aluminum, so it's really, really strong. But anyway, what I want to talk about is the speed here. For some reason, Daiwa for the left-hand retrieve only have the 8.6, whereas the right-hand retrieve have this and also a 7 speed. So that's interesting, but in my opinion, the only speed that you need for a reel this small, especially the spool this small, is really the 8 speed. Because if you look at this, that is the IPT right there, and that is only the IPT of when the spool is pretty much at the max capacity. For bait finesse folks like me who use PE, we don't even max the spool, so we are not even hitting that. So having a fast speed is really important for these smaller spools because, like, again, 8 speed doesn't really mean anything. It's all about IPT, and it's gonna be lower than that, maybe closer to like 26, 27. I have no idea. I would have to measure to figure that out for my casting style with PE. But anyway, I do want to talk about PE and floral before we move on and actually look at the reel, okay? So if you look at these numbers here, okay, this reel here does work with floral and nylon, but be careful. The spool here is very thin, very fragile. They don't want you to use very thin line. Like if you use 4-pound test line, I want to let you know right now, based on all the discussions I have with all my fans, for those who have warped spools, the main culprit has always been the thinner mono and floral, because those lines stretch, and when they stretch, right, they eventually want to go back into original position, right? So it's gonna squeeze onto your spool. It's almost like those videos I see on YouTube where they put a lot of rubber bands on a watermelon. Eventually, you know, enough rubber bands, enough pressure, it will just pop. Okay, so this is also another reason why they say, hey, whether you're using 5, 6, or 8-pound floral or nylon, or, you know, which is mono, only put 50 yards. They don't want to put too much, because when you put too much, what happens is you create that stretch, right? And that stretch kind of get held down by the extra line. It doesn't give enough room for it to kind of, you know, retract without squeezing the spool. So that's very dangerous, okay? So definitely you want to limit your line, or just use PE. And again, using PE, 50 yards is more than enough. You don't want to add crazy amount of PE line and, you know, add more weight. Yeah, I think 50 yards of PE line, that's more than enough for an ultralight lure. Like even if I'm casting a 7-gram lure, you're not gonna hit 150 feet. Okay, your fish may run 150 feet, but you know, yeah, that's a different type of fishery, and if you're having fish that runs that far, you probably need a different reel. Anyway, enough about the specs, right? It's time to unbox this. Y'all probably dying to see this reel and what's in the box. So we have a lot of paperwork here. Schematics is really, really important, and Yeah, I don't think I'll read everything here, but they do look like they're telling you a lot of information, which I probably want to sit and digest it a little bit. Okay, and I urge everyone, for those who purchase this reel, you guys read it yourself, okay? Because I actually know a lot about this reel because I have the Alpha's Air version, right? Check that out. We'll talk about this later, okay? The groove is really nice for the spool. All right, let's just take out the reel and take a look. Look at that. I have this nice little bag here to keep it from being scratched up. And here we are. Look at that beautiful reel. Looks just like the Daiwa Alpha's Air, the JDM version. So like I said, I am very, very stoked that this is now available in the US. Super smooth. No dry clicker, so it's very silent. Let's see. Look at the star drag. It uses the Zion, just like the JDM version, so it keeps it nice and light. This is the 90 millimeter handle here, and it sports TPE material, nice and soft and grippy. Okay, and this does sport the zero adjuster tension knob. That means it's pre-tuned, so you don't need to touch this at all. T-wing system, there you go. Okay, for those who are not familiar with T-wing system, basically this is their line guide management system, and when you hit the thumb bar, disengage the spool, this thing comes out and it has a bigger hole. So when you cast, when this thing is open, the line doesn't really rub on the line guide, and when you actually retrieve, it goes back to that position so that it could manage your line in a very, very beautiful manner. Okay, so it's very, very nice. Thumb bar feels nice and sturdy, right? Just a little bit small movements. And here's the side plate with the brake dial. It goes to 20. Okay, you have 20 clicks. Okay. So anyway, let's open up the side plate and take a look at the spool a little bit closer. Here we go. All you do is put the switch down and pull it out. No twisting, okay? And here we are. Take a look at this. And as you see here, it says Alpha's Air TW. This is awesome. For those who are not familiar with the Alpha's Air TW, this spool here is actually a collaboration with a company that builds a lot of aftermarket spools, and they focus on Bait Finesse spools, very light spools, and they tune the brakes and everything so it works really, really beautifully. So that is really awesome that Daiwa worked with KTF, that's the company. And yeah, beautiful spool. And this is actually a micro bearing, okay? You see this thick thing? That is actually a sleeve on that bearing. And micro bearings are awesome because it allows the spool to start up a lot easier, especially with the lighter lures. So it allows you to cast those light lures a lot easier. And you look at the side plate, that's a micro bearing as well. Now, without taking out the bearing and that crazy looking sleeve, the spool weighs this much. 8. Okay? 8. That's not too bad. Alright, so to your right is my original Alpha's Air TW spool. Okay, as you see, everything looks the same. I'm also looking at the inductor cuffs, make sure they are the same, and amount of washers on there. Everything looks the same. Spool bearings, everything looks the same. And what I also want to show you is this guy right here. Okay, I have 4-pound floral line on here, but I decided to take it off because I would likely put PE back on here because I like PE better. But anyway, look at that. It's pretty flush, kinda. Okay, kinda. But as you see, some knots, it do puffs up just a little bit. So without this groove here, right, that knot will cause your other line to bump up, and therefore when you cast, it doesn't dispense line smoothly. So this line is really important. And also, take a look at inside the spool. You see that? Okay, that is basically part of the structure of the spool. So having your knots tied there, the loop, right, this is where it tightens the most. So by tying it right there, it reduces chances of warping your spool. So make sure you guys tie it right in here. I'm just gonna weigh this spool. Okay, as you see, it's pretty much the same weight between both spools. All right, so there's actually no changes in weight, so that's awesome. I can't wait to get this reel out on the water. So there you have it, the unboxing of the Pixie BF TW70, the left-hand version. I'll be doing a cast testing very soon using some thin PE line, and I'll be pairing this reel up on an ultralight rod. And then, of course, I'll be fishing this reel also on a light tackle rod. I will likely fish for trout because it's trout season right now, so I'll have it on an ultralight rod for some time. But I could also use hover strolling techniques on an ultralight rod or even a light tackle rod for those bass and crappie fishing adventures that I do. So if you're interested in seeing how this reel performs, whether how low it casts or if you want to see this in some fishing action, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn on the bell notifications. This reel here retails in the US for $349.99, and I have gotten this one specifically at Discount Tackle. Y'all can check out the link in the description below. Discount Tackle also carries the Tatula BF 70, so if you want to throw a little bit larger lures, go for that one instead, and that one is priced a little bit cheaper at $239.99. The fish don't wait. Thank you for watching. Get your bait finesse game and go slay some fish.